she was a bad professor. Perhaps she deserved lower pay. But the University of Denver may soon be forced to answer an uncomfortable question in court. What are the chances that all of the female professors in that department were bad at their jobs and deserved lower pay? Our Nelson Garcia delves into a local case touching on a national topic of conversation: equal pay for equal work.
Within the Sturm College of Law at the University of Denver, Professor Lucy Marsh finds herself in the middle of a legal battle.
They always try to, destroy whoever is suing them, and I thought I'd be pretty hard to destroy.
The tenured professor has taught trust and estate courses at DU since 1973. Marsh says this memo shows the university knew women were getting paid around $16,000 less than men in 2013, and that it's standard practice.
It seems to me what we've got is a pattern of a number of law school deans have been intentionally, knowingly violating the law.
The Federal Equal Employment Opportunity Commission got involved, citing gender discrimination and a violation of the Equal Pay Act. Now, Marsh says the EEOC will file a federal lawsuit today against the university. A DU spokesperson says the school will not comment because it hasn't seen the lawsuit. But during a statement issued last year, DU defended its merit pay system and said Marsh was paid less because she was a substandard teacher. Marsh says that argument won't hold up for her or for all 9 female professors.
Yeah, you gave them all promotions, all this kind of stuff, but you thought they were really bad from day one.
Marsh hopes DU will settle this case of a legal battle within the law school.
I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it to make sure that this school complies with the law and can hold its head up, and hopefully sets an example for other schools.
For Next, I'm Nelson Garcia.
Professor Marsh says the EEOC went through a process called conciliation, trying to get DU to comply with the law, but she says that process failed. So now, litigation in federal court, and that could take years. There are more of those creepy clown threats in the news today. First, Greeley, this time in Jefferson County. And it is time that we in the news media acknowledge our role in all of this. Creepy clowns are catnip for TV news, and threats against schools always get people riled up. But perhaps riled up is no way to go through life, especially for no reason. And Jeffco School says the clown thing is just social media hysteria due to recent media coverage. Now, some of the blame probably belongs with the fools making these threats around the country, but we know sometimes these rumors get going without any kind of threat at all.
This is a message for stoners. You're not freaking out, man. Those edibles look different, and there's a reason behind it.
This product, we changed the packaging.
It's a little symbol about the size of a dime.
It meant that we had to get all new molds.
But even a small change is a big pain for the company making it. Ask Dixie Elixirs, which among other products makes cannabis-infused chocolates.
When we had to order new molds, they got hung up in customs. We ordered them from China. They get hung up in customs because customs says it's marijuana paraphernalia and they're not going to release them. So here you have the state saying you have to have this symbol on your product, and you have customs saying, well, it has THC on it, we're not going to let it loose.
This is part of a new state law that goes into effect Saturday.
For the dispensaries that are out there, we as a manufacturer can no longer sell those non-compliant products after October 1, but they have through the end of November to sell through existing inventory.
The goal is to avoid kids accidentally eating marijuana treats, though the state doesn't really have numbers on how often that happens.
If we feel like it makes the industry safer and we're able to look at data later on that says it is, then great, we're all for it.
Starting next year, the state is banning any edibles in the shape of human, animal, or fruit. So no more gummy bears, dude.
Thanks, dude. Is the A-line working today? What's that look of disdain? Do you not trust the train to the plane? Oh yeah, it wasn't working again. There were crossing issues this morning at Quebec Street. Don't laugh, Steve, it messes with me. RTD's A-line had 10 to 15 minute delays both east and westbound. Those problems were fixed in a bit more than an hour's time. We're trying to help you make sense of this year's ballot questions. You know, sort through the horse manure to find the pony, as that old joke goes. In terms of cost and grand scale, not one is bigger than Amendment 69. That would create Colorado Care, a state system to replace most health insurance. Our politics guy, Brandon Ritteman, put together a debate on Colorado Care. You'll see that coming up. And he asked several politicians who support universal health care but yet are not on board with Amendment 69.
These are a lot of people who would say, oh, universal health care, we need to get there eventually. And they look at the guts of Amendment 69 and say, ooh, I don't know if I like the way this is structured.
No, I don't think they looked at the guts. I think they decided they have their issue, we have our issue, and they're going to leave it alone. If they're for universal health care, this is the way to get there. If you vote no on Amendment 69, you're not for universal health care. You're voting for the insurance companies, hundreds of thousands of people uninsured, and 20% increases. If you vote no, you're letting the insurance companies get away with it year after year.
So let me be real clear. I'm one of those people who embraces the goal of universal health care. I've spent the last 12 years of my career working on policy change at the state and federal level to ensure everyone who needs access to quality, affordable health care can get it. The reality, though, is that the details of Amendment 69 leave too many important questions unanswered and levies an enormous new tax that all Coloradans would pay. The choice is not, do we endorse Amendment 69 or endorse the current status quo? The choice is, do we endorse Amendment 69 or continue to build on the system that we have today and continue to make reforms to make that system more efficient, more effective?
Also in politics, Gary Johnson's coming to campaign in Colorado at long last. The Libertarian candidate for president is relatively popular here. He's governor of New Mexico. And in Monday's CNN ORC poll in Colorado, had him at 13%. He has an event scheduled for Monday in Parker. We've invited Governor Johnson on next several times. His campaign responded to Twitter requests from you guys at home saying that Governor Johnson would come on the program his next time in town. So Governor Johnson, we'll save you a seat. America's largest newspaper says Donald Trump is unfit to be president. Big surprise, right? Damn liberal media. But USA Today doesn't endorse presidential candidates. This is actually a first. USA's non-endorsement of Trump urges readers to vote for anyone but Trump or just focus on down-ballot races. It's the first time in the newspaper's 34-year history that's happened. So we got the editorial page editor on the line. We're joined now by Bill Sternberg, who is USA Today's editorial page editor, to talk about the paper's nearly unprecedented non-endorsement of Donald Trump. Bill, thank you for your time. One quick disclosure, 9 News and USA Today used to be under the same parent company. We are no longer, but still have some content sharing agreements. Curious why the paper decided to make this relatively unprecedented move.
We operate by consensus, and the consensus of the board was that he simply lacks the temperament, the knowledge, and the honesty that Americans need in their president.
Did the board consider endorsing Hillary Clinton?
That was also considered. As I said, we're a diverse board. We have representation that's liberal, moderate, conservative, libertarian. And when we took up the question of endorsing Hillary Clinton, specifically, we did not have a consensus. We had some members who thought she would make a fine president. We had others who had grave concerns over her sense of entitlement, what they saw as her lack of candor, and her mishandling of classified information.
A cynical person, not me of course, but a cynical person, a journalist perhaps, somewhere might say that this move by USA Today is a thinly veiled attempt to get people talking about USA Today at a time when newspapers are struggling to stay relevant.
Well, some people might say that, and people are talking. You know, we've been called mental midgets and worse today. But from the perspective of the editorial board, we're simply 9 citizens who want what's best for our country. And sometimes it can be important to stand up and say what needs to be said.
Dave, thank you for your time.
Thanks.
There's a whole list of traditionally conservative newspaper editorial boards that are not endorsing Trump. A number of them endorse Hillary Clinton, a few endorse Gary Johnson, and then others, like the Tulsa World News, decided to endorse no one. Its headline reads, "For President, none of the above." It's a sign. A real estate group in Montrose is getting creative. We've all heard people say, "I'm moving to Canada if such and such candidate wins." Well, we found realtors happy to help you with the move. They posted a sign saying, "Leaving the country if Trump or Hillary wins? Call us to sell your home." That's right, always be selling. Send us any sign that gets your attention. Email next@9news.com. Use the hashtag HeyNext or find Next with Kyle Clark on Facebook. Denver police have a $250,000 video game, except it's not a game. It might just save a life. We visit our reptilian overlords living beneath DIA and explore why so many of us choose to believe conspiracy theories. Facebook. And our Friday night tradition, sharing your good news. I promise, all the feels. Next.
Here we are, September 30th. The month just zipped right on by, and now we're on our way to October. A quick little wrap up on the month. We were quite warm. Temperatures well above our average. As far as rainfall, not so much. Close to 3/10. We should be a little bit closer to about an inch. And snowfall, none to report just yet anyway. On HD Doppler 9 a.m. tracking just a couple of light little showers, those mainly staying to the south of the Denver metro area. I think maybe one or two might cruise through later this evening, but that's going to be about it. We'll go with partly cloudy skies and low 50s for our overnight temperatures. By tomorrow morning, you wake up partly cloudy skies yet again. Some sunshine midday, and then the showers, the clouds are back by about 4 or 5 p.m. Not everyone will see the rain, but you certainly will be watching those clouds in the late afternoon. Temperatures still going to be warm, upper 70s around here. This could be our last final summery looking weekend. Temperatures hold in the 80s on Monday, but there it is, a 20-degree drop as we say hello to that first week of October, Kyle. We will be looking at finally some fall-like weather.
That's a yes from me, D. Grant.
All right, cool.
DIA is no longer in denial. It's embracing the conspiracy talk that has floated around the internet and the airport since the airport was built decades ago. Illuminati this, secret society that, aliens, the RTDA line, New World Order, all kinds of crazy messed up stuff. We get a closer look now through the lens of photojournalist Tom Cole.
We are bombarded constantly by people talking about the conspiracies at the airport. And then they want to see the murals, they want to see the time capsule. Those are the people who are coming through and talking to us about it and keeping this talk alive. The gargoyles actually are perched in suitcases in the baggage claim area. And really they're intended to be good fortune gargoyles, and people often associate them with something maybe less than fun or maybe sinister. It's a very big, vibrant piece, but it's also caused a lot of debate and discussion about whether it's connected with the New World Order and possibly a future hostile government takeover. It's actually a story about the children who are sleeping and dreaming of a world not torn apart by war, violence, racism. A lot of people associate all this infrastructure with secret bunkers or maybe being connected to NORAD, but really it's just a way of moving bags. There's our little famous alien guy. Nobody knows where he came from. We've never seen Kyle down here, but Kyle is one of the people who has popularized one of the theories that the airport is somehow connected with the Illuminati and secret societies. Kyle, I haven't seen any Illuminati wandering around down here, but you're welcome to come out and check it out anytime.
Sounds like a dare. Tomorrow kicks off Conspiracy Theory Month out at the airport. First time they've done that. They have all these conspiracy theory themed events. There's an art gallery, there's viewing parties. There's a tour of the subterranean lair for a couple lucky folks. It sounds interesting, even if there's nothing to this Illuminati stuff. I mean, me and the airport guy were in on some kind of secret society. You'd certainly see some sort of sign or symbol. Hey, remember that poster from the X-Files, the one with the UFO and the big bold letters, "I want to believe"? This will date me, but I had it on my wall in high school. It's true, though. Our brains are hardwired to want to believe in conspiracies. Our psychologist, Dr. Max, explains.
We want this childlike perspective on life, where magic is possible, and and that's part of what these conspiracy theories do. Like that there really are monsters out there trying to get us, or aliens are going to come down, or there's some ridiculous thing buried under DIA. It's exciting to think about, and it's fun to kind of divorce ourselves from reality for a little bit. It's a similar phenomenon to watching a horror movie. It's really fun to get really scared and know that you're completely safe. It's such a visceral rush. And to a lesser extent, believing in a conspiracy theory or wanting to believe in a conspiracy theory is kind of the same thing. It's sort of a safe way to indulge those kind of wacky thoughts that sometimes cross through our minds.
For the record, we asked Dr. Max, and he says he doesn't personally believe in any conspiracy theories except aliens. He says he's pretty sure that those exist. And we're going to let that garbage go unchecked because it's Friday and I'm kind of tired. A donation that might just be too generous to be intentional. And some very intentional generosity, proving that for all the ugly news coverage of police lately, most of them are doing good daily. This next story isn't about a police officer in trouble, a teacher got cheating, a nurse stealing drugs. No, this next story is about a public servant caught doing the right thing. Like 99.9% of them do every day and never make the news. They are the good ones, and they're almost all good ones. Fort Collins Police Detective Jason Curtis met a young girl while he was doing some coursework for the department. He was impressed with her passion for music. He learned that she'd frequently go to school early and stay late just so that she would have access to the school-owned violin to practice. Detective Curtis found out a coworker was selling a violin. He helped pool money to buy it and surprised that young musician with her very own violin. Detective Curtis, one of the good ones, and they're almost all good ones. Did you happen to lose a ring recently? If you live in and around North Glen, I think we know what happened to it. North Metro firefighters found a ring in the bottom of one of their collection boots that they use for those Fill the Boot campaigns over Labor Day weekend. Someone either generously dropped in a ring as a donation or they're searching for it now. So the fire department's going to hold on to it until they know for sure. So if it's yours, either way, donation or not, please call North Metro Fire and describe that ring. DPD rolled out a fancy new toy today. It's a 300-degree wraparound video simulator. It'll help Denver police officers train for a bunch of scenarios: active shooters, building searches, suspects with a gun, traffic stops. It uses video and audio to make the training more realistic. And that kind of tech is not cheap, $283,000. Shout out to Wells Fargo, which kicked in $100,000 for it. The Denver Police Foundation paid for the rest. DPD will share that training tool with other law enforcement agencies. All right, you got 2 minutes to grab a beer, kick off your shoes, relax. We will end our week sharing a bit of real life. We guarantee it will make you smile or your money back. A while back, we put out the call to celebrate the great high school mascots of Colorado. Kind of a Friday Night Lights thing during the fall to put a spotlight on quirky mascots. And look what arrived, thanks to the good people of Rocky Ford, where tonight the Meloneers have a big home game against the Trinidad Miners. Nothing against the Miners, but go Meloneers. And Rocky Ford, thanks for the delicious cantaloupes this year. Plural of cantaloupe isn't cantaloupe, it's cantaloupes. Just seems odd. Maybe I'm the only one who thinks that. Best part of a Friday on Next is made possible because of you. You help us remember the good things in life, the stuff that makes you feel happy.
I got my son, he doing a play tonight. He's doing acting. Now I got my little cousin, he's performing, doing hip hop music, singing and stuff like that, so everything's good.
I'm reading the Harry Potter series for the second time. And that just excites me today that it was ready and I picked it up, and that it's Friday and that this weekend the Broncos play. That's always a good thing.
I'm happy that I have 2 wonderful kids and a loving husband, and my daughter just turned 2, and so we're celebrating her birthday.
The good news is I'm off drugs and I'm happy, you know what I mean? I'm doing what I need to do to be successful in the community.
How proud of everybody are you?
1,000% proud, you know. We doing numbers, we playing baseball numbers, so you know, we batting 1,000 right now. Everything's good, everything's good.
Just makes you feel good. Real quick, Brad Stevens on Twitter. I really need one of the green jackets you wore tonight, but you won't let your resources be known. Here's a little secret, Brad. Thrift store in town, $3.99. See you next time.